Welcome back to Talking Lead. This is episode 89, kinda, sorta.
89 redone.
Yeah, as y'all noticed, last week we didn't have an episode. But really we did. I was on the road with my new career field, and we tried to record through Skype into our recording program, and it didn't turn out too well at all.
Yeah.
We tried all kinds of different
like an hour
programs.
trying to figure it out, and recording through my computer, recording through your computer, and
then we went ahead and winged it, and the winging it didn't work out too well.
It was a great show, though.
Yeah, we'll probably...
It was an awesome show.
We may at some point reach into the Talking Lead archives and re-release it.
I don't know if it's as bad as you say it is. I don't know.
I'll play it for you afterwards. It's pretty rough.
Maybe we'll cut in a clip toward the end, let you guys hear it.
Something. Anyways.
Yeah.
So what'd you do with guns this week?
Well, what did I do? Oh, my buttstock came in. I ordered the Ace SOCOM buttstock.
You like it?
I love it.
You shot with it yet?
I haven't
Okay.
shot it yet, but I put it on. I was going to put it on my Troy, and the what do you call it? Damn it!
The
plate.
talking about the nut?
No, where you clip your single point slings on the faceplate.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Anyway, whatever the that is. It was too thick, so I couldn't get it on the Troy. So I ended up putting it on Two-Face.
That's what she said?
Yeah, well, she usually says that. It's too thick, yeah. So I put it on Two-Face. So Two-Face has a new buttstock.
Nice.
And I'll probably take it out this week sometime and give her a little run through the mill. But it's a nice little SOCOM. It's the 8-inch, just out to 9.5 inches. They're made for breaching doors. I mean, they're super reinforced, sturdy. Mm-hmm. And the bottom of them look like a meat cleaver, so you could probably tenderize your meat too while you're out in the field.
I don't want to hear about you tenderizing your meat with a butt
I think that's what it was intended for.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah, but I've got some plates ordered for my T3 plate carrier. Mm-hmm. And I went to Bowtach, and I got the soft plates. They got a deal in there where you can name your own price, like Priceline. It's like if you don't like their price, then you can make them an offer.
That's pretty cool.
And I made them an offer, and they accepted it. I was like, there's no way they're going to accept this offer, but I shot it to them, and they're like, yeah, we'll take it. I was like,
do they do that with guns too?
I don't think their guns have that option.
Crap.
But they might. I didn't look, but I mean,
brilliant idea though.
But they don't charge any shipping either, so I mean, their prices are usually lower than anybody anyway. And then they don't charge shipping on top of that, and of course, there's no taxes if you're out of.
So this is like Priceline for body armor, is what this is.
That's what it sounds like.
It's for everything. I mean, they've got anything and everything. They got clothes. They've got accessories for your guns. They sell guns, eye protection, ear protection, everything. They got it all. It's called Bowtach Tactical.
It's a funky name.
It's pretty cool.
I'll have to check it out. And I got to be honest that I was like, when they came out with Priceline and Expedia and all that stuff back in the day, I was a little apprehensive about it. But I use Expedia for everything now. I mean, I travel a fair amount. I stay in hotels a fair amount. I rent cars a fair amount. So I always use Expedia for everything. But I do have to say that when I book things through Expedia, I don't always quite get the room that I wanted, or I don't always get this. I get terrible seats on flights sometimes.
Right.
And they don't ever have the car that I actually wanted. And I'm just wondering if, like, you order plates for your body armor and you name your price, are you actually getting, like...
Yeah, you get exactly what... Yeah, you get exact... Because they're, it's a brand and it's a size and it's a color, and if there's options available to pick, you can, pick those. But, yeah, you get exactly what you see is what you get. WYSIWYG.
WYSIWYG?
Yeah, what you see is what you get.
Well, me, with my new career, which we announced it on episode 89 original, before this in 89.
So in case you guys don't know, Zeke is with Sonoran Desert Institute.
Yes.
He is dean. He wears his little cap and gown around.
Yeah, I've been walking around with my pipe and, a big, nice,
drinking his
sports
Scotchy
coat
Scotch.
with the patches on the elbow.
It's his tactical robe.
Now, I am now the department chair for the School of Firearms Technology at Sonoran Desert Institute. So last week I
break out the applause.
So last week I was in Oklahoma. I went and hung out with Jeremiah Savoy Leather, and we did some stuff with Two Vets Arms for the school, and got to shoot the 308 that Left Hand made.
No, I don't make the products. I make them better.
So we've all heard about Left Hand breaking the prototype 308 that Two Vets Arms has. And because of him breaking it, they had to do some extra R&D, and that thing is a beauty, man. It runs like a top. It's awesome.
Well, I do what I can when I can, where I can.
So that was my week, and we've already heard our guest. We'll go ahead and introduce him now, Mr. Vincent Beckles with Mesa Kinetic Research. What's up, man?
What's going on, guys? How y'all doing today?
That is research at the end of Mesa Kinetic, right?
Yeah, it's research.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
MCR?
It'd be MKR, but yes.
MKR.
Well, he's educated in Tennessee like me.
Yeah, but I didn't know what an algorithm was until you explained it to me a little while ago. So there we go. We're all even playing field.
There you go.
That'll work.
So what's going on with you gun-wise this week?
Oh, man, this week, let me think. Man, working on guns, living the dream. Took in a few new projects. We do a lot with the... We call it the AKS 92U. Basically, as everyone knows, you've had the importation of those Yugo PAP M92 pistols for the last few years. Mm-hmm. I know the market's kind of dropped on them recently, but there's a fair amount in circulation, and there's a lot of people that are doing them into short-barreled rifles. Mm-hmm. I had the pleasure of getting one back when I think they retailed for about $350 about 3-4 years ago, and I decided that I don't like underfolding stocks, that I didn't want to just bolt an ace stock with a hinge on the back, and that I wanted something a little cooler. We started doing them with the triangle side folding, Bulgarian or Russian style stocks. And one thing I ran into early on with my own personal conversion was that the receiver on mine was a little softer than I'd like to register as an NR or NFA firearm. And, you go through all that paperwork. You don't want a gun that's a 5,000 round gun. You want a gun that's a lifetime gun. So what we've been doing with them is a package where you provide your PAP pistol. We go ahead and demill it, use it as a front end Yugoslavian M92 kit, but we mill down the bottom of the front trunnion so that it'll accept the side folder latch. We rebuild it on a Nodak or a 74 ULLC receiver, and basically it kind of comes out like a Khyber Pass AKM, except for with a 10-inch barrel. So it's basically I'm not going to say it's a poor man's Krink, because it's definitely an expensive process. If you were to just order one from us, you'd be looking at about $2,500. That's if you don't provide anything yourself. But that's, we use Krebs selectors, Nodak and 74 ULLC receivers. We refinish all the wood, slick all the components. It comes out to be a pretty sweet shooting little piece. Nice. And that's been working on some of that stuff this week. Let me think. We actually just my shop's located next to a motorcycle shop, Kawasaki Suzuki shop. So the parts guy over there, he passed away about a year ago, and his wife has been bringing in some of his old collection that had been stored in definitely less than ideal climate controlled conditions since he passed away. Some old 1800s Enfields, some trapdoor Springfields, M1 Garands, 1903, some M1917 Smith & Wesson 45 ACP revolvers. And we've basically been doing full antique cleanings and, cleaning, preservation cleanings on those. Basically is more of a favor to the family than anything else. But that's something I kind of got, it's a whole other story of how I got involved in that. But early on in my gunsmithing career, we had a little incident called Hurricane Katrina. So I got well versed in salvaging things that had been stored in the worst of possible climates, involving salt water, high humidity, mud, all types of things like that. So
you get in the refurbishing business?
Not saying, not necessarily. I mean, with a lot of that stuff, you want to, you don't necessarily want to refurbish it in terms of, you're not trying to refinish it. You are trying to stop all active rust without taking the patina, which is oftentimes inactive rust, off the rifle, and get it into museum presentation condition. By at the same time removing any mildew, mold, active rust, all things that are affecting the value. and that goes for both the wood and the actual metal on the firearm. So we've been spending a fair amount of the week taking care of some of his, his legacy that he's leaving to his son, and
cool.
working on some of the AKS 92 stuff. I've been setting up my own personal. I have a 5.45 M16 short barrel full auto that I put together from Smith and basically took a Smith and Wesson M&P 5.45 when they did those a few years back, cut it down to 12 inches, did it as a post sample machine gun, put one of our flash hiders on it, and I've been rigging that out to take to the Haley Strategic D3 Carbine Vehicle Darkness course here at the end of the month in Victoria, Texas. So
why is it our guests always trump our weekend guns? We're sitting here with our jaws on the ground going, damn, nice.
Well, I mean, you got to understand, man, that this is absolutely 100% what I do for a living, like 7 days a week. So a lot of it's just how I make my money.
Yep.
And when it comes to stuff, I try to take I'm a big fan of, I'm not going to say a fanboy because I know the guy personally and I really do respect his teaching method, but I am a fan of Travis Haley's teaching method and the biomechanics and the psychology of his teaching method.
It's okay. You can be a fanboy. It's okay.
It's fine. I'll put it this way. It's totally
acceptable.
The fanboy means that you freaking hold somebody on a pedestal that you've never met just because they're famous.
Yeah.
And actually, there really is two different things, man. Fanboys are dudes that make it awkward when you meet them.
Right.
Like us.
It's like I like the dude that makes a good pizza down the street. I'm not a fanboy. I just respect the fact that he can make a good pizza.
There you go.
You eat his pizza from now.
If somebody watched his TV commercial and had never met him and never ate his pizza, but just thought he was the greatest thing in the world because he was on TV, I think that would be a fanboy. But yeah, I try to make it out to one of Travis's classes every year, and that basically, man, that's literally like my vacation, I guess, because I do take a family vacation once a year, but other than that, that's really my only vacation, that and SHOT Show. And both of those are technically business things because you're networking the whole time you're there.
Yeah.
So they become justifiable write-offs that can kind of be, I don't know, it's part work, part play, part vacation, part freaking work write-off and networking experience. So
yeah, we're learning how to do that.
Yeah.
What's that?
So we're learning how to do that, how to work our vacations as work vacations, and therefore we can write them off.
Yeah, last year at SHOT, oh my. I think by the time we got to you...
That was a freaking workout, dude.
Oh, my
a vacation.
God. See, nobody really told us how it was set up, so we were just scheduling appointments with people. Do videos here, do interviews there, but then we get there, and like one was in the bottom floor on one end, and the next one was on the third floor at the opposite end. We were running around ragged.
Was that y'all's first year at SHOT Show?
Yeah, that was our first shot.
It's a mess, dude. It's I was doing booth appearances with a few different companies, and they were on different days, but still, it's like, one day I'd be like right by the front door if I needed to like run outside and grab a cigarette or something. Then the next day I'd be on the freaking basement on the opposite end, and I got lost just like walking to get a water. and that wasn't my first SHOT Show. It was the first time that I'd ever been to SHOT where I had scheduled appointments where I had to be certain places, certain times. And this year, man, I'm going out for like the last 2 days this year. I'll be in like Wednesday afternoon. I'm going to fly in and go to the Rifle Dynamics party that night and hit the show floor Thursday and Friday. But I'm really trying not to go with an agenda this year because, I don't know, man. It can turn something really fun into something horribly stressful really quickly.
Sure. Well, which is what we did this last year.
Yeah.
We're just going to wing it. There's some stuff I'll probably...
I did an interview with some other freaking guys when I was there that was like... I was at the Midwest Industries booth on Thursday, and these guys just walked up, and they're like, it was like tactical TV or some crap, and they just walked up with a microphone and a video camera, and they're like, hey, we do a quick interview? I'm like, yeah. And they were just walking from booth to booth. Hey, will you do an interview? And like, I was thinking to myself, dude, if that's how I was doing it, that's what I would do. Just walk booth
That's
to booth.
how we did NRA, our first NRA show.
That's how we did it.
Yeah, because appointments at SHOT Show is like the worst idea ever, because it's like, I don't know, man, it's the whole...
Are you there? Hello.
NSA's got us.
Hang on. Let me pause this.
They found...
I don't know if hang up on me?
No, I think the NSA jacked us or something. I don't know.
Dude, if you guys don't want to talk to me, you can just like tell me to shut up, and I'll just listen to y'all. You don't have to hang up.
I think Skype's turning into Facebook, and they're monitoring their content.
Right? Moms Demand Bedroom Action or something got after us.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that lady for a minute? Is she off limits?
You know, we haven't put her on the jackwagon train.
Well,
let's put her on the jackwagon train.
Shannon Watts was on the jackwagon train?
No, but she's about to be right now.
Let's do that. So now let's do our jackwagon.
Hoorah, Semper Fi, do or die, hold 'em high at 8th and I. It is time for the talking lead jackwagon of the week, so brace yourself, baby.
All right.
So this week, thanks to Vince, we're going to throw, what's her name again? Shannon?
I think it's Shannon Watts, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's
Shannon
the
Watts.
organization called?
It's Moms Demand Action, but it is Shannon Watts. Wow. And then the organization is basically, isn't it funded by Bloomberg?
Oh, I'm sure he's got something to do with it.
I'm pretty sure it is. And it's run by her. What's your take on her?
I don't even know who's funding it, dude. I'm sure that there's people out there that could figure that out. But is it Moms Demand Action now, or is it Every Town for Gun Safety Action Fund? Which one is it?
Moms Demand Action is still up and going.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it started off on Facebook or whatever, grew to frickin' be an actual lobbyist group. And, you know, I just got to wonder about somebody who's spent their entire career involved with a company like Monsanto, suddenly caring so much about the safety of children.
Really? She was involved with Monsanto?
Shannon Watts?
Yeah.
That's my understanding, and I will go ahead and I will pull some facts real quick. Y'all can talk amongst yourselves, and I will frickin'
Shannon Watts is a 42-year-old mother of 5 children, 2 stepdaughters, 23 and 19, 2 daughters, 17 and 16, and a 12-year-old son. For the past 5 years, Miss Watts has been a stay-at-home mom in Zionsville, a suburb of Indianapolis, Indiana. Prior to that, she had a 15-year career as a communications executive for both agencies and corporations.
Doesn't say which ones.
Doesn't say which ones.
We'll find that out real quick, because I am almost 100% sure.
Miss Watts was not an activist or involved in gun control prior to the shootings at Sandy Hook on December 14th.
Wow. So she started the same time we did.
Aw. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's backed by Bloomberg. And what was that town? What was the other name that he was saying?
Every Town for some kind of crap. I don't know.
Yeah, that like bombed really big. So I think they nixed that name anyway, and then they reincarnated as something else.
And Moms Demand Action is starting to flop too, because apparently she didn't background check a lot of the employees that they were hiring, and there was like convicted felons and crap on their staff. It is crazy.
Okay, here we go, man. I got it. Right. This is off of Shannon Watts' own LinkedIn. Okay, this is her personal page with all of her, background on it. From 1998 to 2001, she was the vice president for corporate and public affairs for Fleischmann Hillard. It says what her duties were: directed 7-member team that identified and managed issues and crises for clients, including Monsanto Company, BP Amoco, Bayer Corporation, Firestone, McDonald's, Applebee, Purdue Pharma, Osco, BASF, and Hallmark. So, if you want to talk about freaking oil rigs blowing up in the Gulf of Mexico and spilling oil all along the coastline of the place that I live, or poisoning our children with freaking chemicals and fast food, or poisoning, the third world in America with, genetically modified corn, then let's talk about, you need to freaking...
But moms don't care about stuff like that. They just care about firearms.
Wow.
Okay, how about Firestone Tires that blew up on all those Explorers 10 or 15 years ago? She was representing them in the freaking era where Firestone Tires were blowing up on Ford Explorers.
So it says she was the PR person then, right?
That's the way it looks. Directed 7-member team that identified and managed issues.
She's not an attorney for them.
No, well, so this is what that's telling me, because Bloomberg tied in with them with his billions of dollars trying to get rid of guns, and basically she was the spin doctor for all these crappy companies that were doing all this crappy stuff.
That's exactly what it looks like. Yeah. Is it
so he went after, okay, let's see the most crappy companies, who can spin them to look good. Let's get Shannon Watts.
Yeah, or at least she was vice president corporate and public affairs for Fleischman Hillard, which
she's a spin meister,
which managed and managed issues and crises for clients. That sounds like spin doctor stuff to me, or at least sweeping stuff under the rug, or handling the legal affairs of people that are being sued for wrongdoing. It's one of those things. And this is off of her own LinkedIn, man. If you go to Shannon Watts' LinkedIn, it's straight at the top. It says founder of Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America, Indianapolis, Indiana area. Went to University of Missouri, Columbia, and it goes down. And, it lists stuff in order. And let's see, she was also a freelance senior consultant and counselor for Fleischman Hillard from November 2010 to June of 2012. So she's worked with the same company that, represented Monsanto and McDonald's and whatnot years after she initially left it. Let's see, Vox Public Relations, she was there for a few years. Does not list their client base for that, but it seems like she's pretty much been, let's see, she worked for a director for global communications at GE Healthcare. Yeah, she's basically been a career manager of
chaos,
of dealing with public crap and companies that have problems because they do shady crap. That's what it looks like to me.
That's kind of scary. That's
Well, how can she be a stay-at-home mom if she's doing all that stuff?
Well, that's the person, because she's spinning it that way.
Haven't you watched The Real Housewives of New Jersey?
No, I haven't.
That's what the stay-at-home mom in America is considered nowadays, is somebody who, she works from an office at home, drops her kids off in daycare in the morning, or hires a nanny to take care of her kids while she pursues some kind of corporate career from home. That's a stay-at-home mom in the eyes of the elitists nowadays. Granted, a real stay-at-home mom, somebody like my wife that has 4 children, 2 of which she homeschools full-time and takes care of full-time. So that's a stay-at-home mom. This lady's not a stay-at-home mom. She's a corporate consultant that, that is parading as your average suburban housewife when she's actually, represented multiple companies that have probably caused more chaos, death, and cancer amongst the children of America and the third world than firearms ever have.
Well, here's what's awesome. So everybody listening needs to go to her LinkedIn, post it on all your social media, because if it needs to get out there that this is the woman that spun, possibly her, but she worked for a company that spun the BP oil spill to make BP look how awesome they are. They're helping all the locals in Louisiana and Mississippi by giving them food while they clean up birds.
Yeah, but I still can't. I live 60 miles from the Gulf of Mexico, and I still can't order oysters because of the contamination. There's still freaking teams coming from all over the country to harvest oysters on the Gulf Coast and test them for petroleum contaminants. So yeah, that's the type of person. I'm not saying it doesn't look like she worked for that company directly at the point in time when the BP oil spill happened, but she worked for a company that represented BP in, managed their issues and crises for clients on a regular basis. And she certainly did work for Monsanto, Bayer, Firestone, McDonald's, Applebee's. I don't know how Applebee's fits into that, dude. I didn't know Applebee's had like a big crisis issue, like oil spills or kids being born with a third testicle or anything like that. But it makes me not want to eat at Applebee's. And guess what? I don't think you can carry a gun in Applebee's either, so I don't need to eat that.
They had to do a spin when they had that spiked-haired chef guy that was that Applebee's?
Something. I don't know. Well, we've also got another, we're going to dub this person a tentative Jack Wagon. He's kind of back there on the
somebody who's getting groomed.
Who's getting groomed for the Jack Wagon train.
He's on the hand cart on his way.
We're kind of CYA-ing it, and we're going to call this gentleman, let's say Phil Bladen, so we're just going to call him that, Phil Bladen. So
we can't call him his real name.
I think everybody's going to get it.
Hill Waden. How about Hill Waden?
Hill Waden. There you go. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, we're just covering our ass. I think everybody gets it though.
Hey, he's a public figure in the news, man. This is a news program, and it is protected by press laws, man. So
he's strongly alleged to have.
With lots of evidence.
Yeah.
So we have somebody here that, if you don't recognize his name and voice, he was associated with the TV show Sons of Guns. Vince was, what should we call you? Because they didn't make you out to be as smart as you actually are in real life.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't think I had an actual title on the show. Besides, I mean, I was a original cast member of the show and a cast member for the entire time.
You were the badass that got to ride off in the sunset.
Yeah, everybody. I mean, he's very recognizable. He's got the long beard. He's got the tats. He rode the motorcycles, and he's the one who called bullshit on them all the time when they were being dumbasses.
I did have a habit. Man, the reason I called bullshit all the time was because there was so much smoke being blown up the cameraman's asses by Will all the time that any chance I had to call bullshit on him where he'd look dumb on camera, I mean, he was just such an asshole all the time that
you just couldn't pass the opportunity, could you?
Oh, dude, you can't pass it. You're filming for 12 or 18 hours some days, and this dude's just being a complete douche all day on and off camera. I can't pass up the opportunity to make you look dumb when you won't even realize you look dumb until somebody mentioned it to you after the episode aired. Yeah. I mean, and that goes back to the first season where he wanted me to put a freaking Krieger barrel on an AK, which was ridiculous. And he's like, yeah, just go ahead and chamber that out, Vinny. And I'm like, hey, you got a depth micrometer? Knowing full well I had one in my toolbox and knowing full well that he didn't know what one was and he was already in a bad mood that morning, I figured I would make him look really dumb on TV because he'd just been an asshole all day. But yeah, man, as far as him being on the in line for the jackwagon train, he's definitely in the court of and there is a lot to be said for the court of public opinion when the public has been exposed to a fair amount of the evidence, because everybody says innocent until proven guilty, and that's fine in a court of law. That's not my responsibility as an individual citizen to presume somebody innocent. That's if I was sitting on his jury, it would be my responsibility. I have definitely presumed him guilty based on evidence that I've seen. And I would say that in the court of public opinion, he's convicted and sitting, waiting on the 310 to Yuma to the jackwagon train. We just need to get him there, man. No, it's all personal feelings aside with that entire case. And I spoke with Stephanie, his daughter, last night. And, I told her, I said, what makes me feel bad about this whole thing is that I spent the last 3 years of my life sometimes second guessing my decisions about how I ended my relationships with some of those people. Mm-hmm. And I thought that maybe sometimes I had overreacted to some things that Will had said, that you do something that's very extreme and you second guess it sometimes. And, my life has been better since then, and I'm glad I left, and it was the right choice. But I always felt bad about some of the relationships that got damaged in the process of that. And I didn't understand why some of the relationships got damaged when I didn't think I did anything wrong with certain people.
Yeah.
And, it basically turns out Will had told a bunch of lies to Joe and Chris and Stephanie. And honestly, the relationship between me and Chris and Stephanie and Joe, everybody's on good terms now, man. Particularly ever since a lot of the truth has come out about Will. Right. We're all on good terms with one another.
That's what I was going to ask. I was going to say, has this, made you guys reevaluate your relationships, and are they getting, have you mended those fences?
Yeah, we really have, man. And it was really Will that was standing in the way of that, because he would tell Chris I felt some way about him. He's a sociopath in the truest sense of the word, and he enjoys playing God. And I think that's what he really liked about the television show is he would try to live his real life as if it was a television show. And he would try to pit everybody against one another so that we would never talk about the real issues, like how much money is Will Hayden stealing from the company that he doesn't even own, mm-hmm. that me and Joe and Charlie owned and Stephanie owned a significant financial portion of, but no actual control of the company. How much money is he stealing from the company? How many of our talent fee checks for TV have gone to another bank account with Will's name on it that never got seen by our company? There was a lot of thievery. And
just guessing, I would assume that's probably something that's going to come to light as well.
Well, and I honestly think that there's really no good way to get justice in the whole matter, because the money that was stolen was spent. It's not like he's sitting on it. And the way it looks is he will spend the rest of his life in Louisiana State Penitentiary at Angola, and that's where he belongs for anybody that molests children, let alone rapes children, let alone rapes their own blood, their own blood daughter. There is a special place for them on a prison farm in the South, and I hope they find that special place for them. Oh. However, we could figure my figures is that he looted over $500,000.
Good Lord.
From the company.
Wow.
That's my figures on it. And if you count the fact that a TV show was going to 6 seasons, we just started filming season 6. And you got to figure that most shows that go to 6 go to 10 on Discovery. then personally what he looted from me and my family on future talent fees for that show was approaching $500,000. So there's that matter. There's the matter that he's, that it looks like he's completely guilty. There's multiple, I can't get into the evidence, but he's guilty. I'll put it that way. I've seen the evidence. I've seen the police reports. I can't throw anything out there that's going to give his lawyer any chance to.
Well, if things keep going, obviously the way they're going, he's going to be on the jackwagon train, if not right up there next to Dianne Feinstein.
We can throw him on the jackwagon train for being a douchebag to you guys.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why he's on the hand cart on his way there.
Yeah.
So
I think his permanent spot shouldn't necessarily be on the jackwagon train. It should be the guy in the striped jumpsuit chained to the guy next to him, hoeing radishes in the field, waving at the jackwagon train going by. The jackwagon train is going better places than he is.
Yeah.
We may have to create a new spot. Yeah, definitely. I like that idea.
The Angola chain gang.
Let me ask you this. I mean, because of the show was so popular, the concept of it. Is there any talks of you guys maybe doing something similar, a spinoff or something? Or can you talk about it? If you can't talk about it, I understand.
Yeah, no. There's been creative talks with, a couple of different companies involving a future project. Nothing is, nothing on paper, and nothing. It takes a while to develop something like that. Sons of Guns was a process that took the better part of a year and a half from the time that it initially got discussed to the time that it actually started filming. And so you figure 2 years from the time you start talking about it till it airs. So there's been some discussion, but I mean, this whole thing was I don't know what kind of financial hit Discovery or the production company took, but I got to imagine it was huge because, we were 2 or 3 episodes into filming a new season, and bang, these kind of allegations come out and this kind of evidence comes out. So I got to imagine there was a huge financial hit taken by these companies. And while, networks do have a fair amount of money, a financial hit to you or me may be you lose $1,000. A financial hit to these people could be losing $10 million in a course of overnight, and, there's going to be a lot of people that are real gun shy about picking up a show about a family-owned gun business, or they've just had a.
Just don't bring back Gunsmoke.
Well, I mean,
American guns.
Well, here's the thing with the Sons of Guns, and I'm speaking from personal. When I watched it, I wasn't watching it to see Will. I mean, it was everybody else that was around. It was you guys, that brought the personality, that brought the whole soul to the show. That's what it was, So. If he'd have left after season 1, that show still would have been very successful.
Here's the thing: is that there's people that sit in offices on either coast of this country that make a lot of money to decide on what the American people are going to watch. It's they like the Will Hayden personality. They like that larger than life. I'm a freaking tough guy / I'm a douchebag / I'm a freaking Southern gentleman, whatever. But that image got freaking crushed and destroyed. And I think it's going to be a while before you see somebody wanting to bring back that type of show, because it left a terribly bad taste in the mouths of these, TV executives. I don't know for a fact that they feel that way, but I got to imagine that's how they feel because of the way this whole thing went down. So we'll see. I mean, I would really there's a couple of specials I would like to film. When I say special, like a 90-minute documentary type of deal, a one-off, if you will, but shot somewhat in a reality TV style, not super artsy in a film style, but not super soap op, not a docu-soap, but an actual, documentary type of deal. I would like to go to, one of these colonial blacksmithing, gunsmithing type of shops that they have, Williamsburg, Virginia, or somewhere along that nature, where there's a guy that actually smiths rifles in the 1700s or 1800s fashion, fusion welding barrels, hand rifling barrels with a rifling mandrel on a foot pedal lathe, things of that nature.
That would be cool, yeah.
I think it'd be cool for and I've discussed it with Glenn Fleming, and he showed interest. I think it'd be cool for somebody like me and Fleming to go and, spend 3 or 4 weeks with these guys and shoot it as a 90-minute or a 2-hour special of, here's these two guys from the new school world of gunsmithing.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a fair amount about older stuff, but I've never fusion welded my own, rifled musket barrel. And I think that learning how to make locks, and I do a lot of stock work already, but to make my own stock and finish it with the nitric gas.
That'd be the hell of a History Channel show right there, man.
I think it'd be great to do that. It could be a big comeback for Discovery, I think, too, man. I think there's a lot of networks out there that are doing reality stuff that could benefit from something like that, because I think there is a contingency of people out there that definitely want to see it done, dude. They like shows like How It's Made and Modern Marvels and Dirty Jobs. And,
people roll up their sleeves and get it done.
One of our highest viewed videos on YouTube was the How It's Made we did on the 1911.
Yeah.
And it was a 30-minute video, but people freaking loved that thing.
I've definitely been approached about doing some YouTube stuff. It's just a matter of, some of it is so time-consuming. Mm-hmm. And with an entire business to run and 4 kids and a wife, it becomes one of those, if I'm going to take 2 weeks or even a week to produce something really cool, it's got to come with the regular TV paycheck. Yeah. Otherwise, my company doesn't continue to go on forward and my family doesn't have money. There has to be a regular income from the business.
Sure.
And for me to remove myself from the business to make TV or to make YouTube videos or whatever it is, there has to be the paycheck that would truly compensate me for it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I've fallen short on the YouTube videos, because I just don't have the free time to make them for free. I mean, I definitely commend the people that do that. That's their hobby. That's their passion. But many of the people that do that heavily aren't actually doing guns all day and have a different career where they punch a clock for somebody else.
Yep.
And they've got that paycheck and they can use their 3 or 4 hours after work every day to, hey, let's make a YouTube video. As a business owner who does guns full time, and as we all know, guns is not the most profitable business out there that I could use my skill set for. I do it for the love, not for the money. So you're constant. I think every gun business in America is constantly on the verge of going out of business. It's not that they're going to close the next day, but every gun business in America is constantly on the verge of, hey, we could go out of business.
One bad quarter, and
you're
shit
that may be any small business, but that's the only small business I've ever owned is guns. So yeah, you're constantly, making sure that you've got paychecks for your employees, that you've got, groceries at home, that you've got rent paid at the shop, that you've got all your utilities paid at home and at the shop. So I just don't get the time to do the YouTube type of stuff that I would love to do. It's just, man, I'm constantly running a business.
Sure. Well, and let's kind of get off the whole Sons of Guns thing, leave the negativity in the dust. And did I say negativity?
Negativity, yeah.
Negativity.
It's a new algorithm.
It's an algorithm for negative stuff. And let's talk about you, man.
Let's talk about Mesa.
So how did you originally get into firearms?
How did I originally get into firearms?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know exactly. Okay, a lot of what I know about it is stories that my dad's told me that I don't necessarily remember all of. But do you guys remember a movie called Man from Snowy River? It was an Australian cowboy movie that came out in the early 80s.
Yeah.
All right, so my dad took me to that when I was a kid. And you guys remember Pez dispensers, right? The little candy dispensers?
Yep.
Okay, well, I had a little Jerry from Ben & Jerry, the little mouse Jerry Pez dispenser.
Yeah.
And I went to go see Man from Snowy River with my dad, and I couldn't have been more than 3 years old, man.
It was a 1982 movie, so if that helps you.
So the only thing that I remember about the movie really was that the horse took that crazy nosedive off the cliff, and I thought that was crazy. But at some point in time, some guy pulls a gun on the hero in the movie, and I jumped up with my Ben & Jerry Pez dispenser and stretched that thing out like a rifle and was ready to freaking go to town with a gunfight with the guys on the stream. that was one of my first,
it had Kirk Douglas in it.
What's that?
It had Kirk Douglas in it.
Did it?
Yeah. Yeah, Kirk Douglas was in it. He was Harrison or Spur. Do you remember that character?
I got to watch that movie again because I don't think I've seen it since I saw it in the theater when I was a kid. I watched Man from Snowy River 2, and it just wasn't the same. I don't think I was the right age, and I didn't have my Pez dispenser with me. But
you got to have that Pez dispenser.
Yeah, really. I got a Boba Fett Pez dispenser now. It's pretty freaking sweet, dude. It's the only one I own, but I don't even eat Pez, but it looks good sitting on the shelf.
Nice. So you're a Star Wars fan?
Oh, yeah, dude.
Sweet.
I'm a Star Wars fan from 1980 or 1985 and before. I can't say that I really was a big fan of the new movies.
The Jar Jar Binks bull.
Jar Jar Binks was terrible, dude. Let's just all admit it. There was no good came from that. It was bad.
I will I will say this. I saw something hilarious last night because my 3-year-old son, loves freaking Star Wars.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want the new ones. He always wants the old ones. Same thing with Superman movies. He only wants to watch the old Christopher Reeves ones. He hates the new ones. And he's 3. So we're watching this new cartoon that Disney has out called the Yoda Chronicles. It's like a Lego cartoon.
Okay.
So it's got a lot of comedy in it too. Well, at one point, Darth Vader crashes on Naboo, and he like lifts up, and then they flash back to Luke and all them in their little Lego look, and they're like, yeah, he's not going to like where he landed too much. And all of a sudden, Jar Jar Binks pops up, and he goes, Annie, it's me, Sir Jar Jar Binks. And Darth Vader's like freaking out, going, no! So it's kind of like they kind of made fun of themselves with the whole Jar Jar Binks thing with that cartoon. But I was rolling, man. It was hilarious.
They probably should have deleted that entire like Gungan race, though, like entirely from the series. They just weren't. It wasn't good.
Just Jar Jar. Even the Gungans were okay. It's just Jar Jar was over the top.
The entire episode 1, like I saw it in the theater. I lived in East Lansing, Michigan, and I was like, like 19 or 20 years old when it came out. I think it was 20 when it came out, and we had a few drinks and then went out to see the new Star Wars movie. And the whole time, it's like, I'm kind of like, the buzz is wearing off, and I'm sitting there like, is this movie supposed to be like horribly racially insensitive and like have a bunch of like bad ethnic freaking accents and like I couldn't
like
think
it Jamaican. It's a Jamaican accent.
With that, and you had like the Trade Federation guys had these bad like kung fu, like Hong Kong kung fu movies, like white guys overdubbing Asian guys, like stereotypical accents. You had the frickin' Italian shopkeeper that owned Anakin or whatever. It was just
he had the short, his belly hanging out of his shirt, and he's sweaty and hairy.
Yeah, and it was like you made these 3 awesome movies in the late 70s and early 80s, and
the first one came out in 1977.
Yeah, I mean, and the weirdest part about that is Carrie Fisher slips in and out of a British accent because she was a classically trained, she's American that was classically trained in British stage work, so she spoke British half the time. But that was a little strange in hindsight. But other than that, man, when they had an alien voice or something, they used subtitles. Or the guy just had a weird-sounding voice. They didn't just pick some random freaking stereotypical ethnic accent.
Exactly, yeah. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seemed like he threw away all the old scripts and just let his kids write it or something, and it was terrible, man.
So
I have high hopes for the new ones to some extent, but I really wish they would have given the dude that did District 9 and Elysium. I wish they would have given him the movies because you could see that his vehicles are very inspired by the original Star Wars. I mean, District 9, there's a lot of influence from the Imperial Navy's aircraft and the Sand Troopers uniforms and everything like that, and even the weapons are very Star Wars influenced. So I would have liked to see him do it, but I don't know, man. I guess I got into guns a lot through Star Wars when I was a kid too, man. I developed a huge love for the Sterling submachine gun and the MG-34 machine gun without realizing those were actually World War II machine guns. To me, they were stormtrooper guns, but I really liked those as a kid.
Yeah, they based those off those guns. That's cool. So I guess you would say when it comes to pop culture, your go-to, whether it's a movie, a song, a magazine, video game, what's your go-to
that involves guns?
And it could be laser. It could be laser guns.
What's my go-to in pop culture for guns?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, man. Like currently,
I'm saying like anything. Star Wars,
it could
probably.
Be Star Wars. It could be.
I'm just guessing.
310 to Yuma.
No, I did like 310 to Yuma, the new one, because it. I'll tell you what I really liked, man. What I really liked Western. I've always liked Westerns, but what I really liked 310 to Yuma was like okay. But I'll tell you what was really good was Appaloosa.
Appaloosa. What is that? I remember that.
Appaloosa had Ed. God, I can't. It was the guy that played the sniper, and he played the German sniper in Enemy at the Gates.
Ed Harris.
He was like a
Ed Harris.
Ed Harris, yeah. Him and another guy had just gotten out of the. They'd fought in the Civil War. And basically, all they were good at was gunfighting, and they'd go from town to town and hire on. It's like
I know exactly what you're talking about.
But I like that one because the Old West gunfights in that escalated quickly and ended quickly. And that's really the truth of the Old West. There was no, let's stand out in the middle of the street and have a showdown at high noon. Most gunfights happened the way back then, the same way they would happen today. somebody pulls a weapon and somebody else pulls a weapon and a very quick fight ensues and it's over with.
I don't think I've seen that movie.
It's good.
It's got Viggo Mortensen in it too.
It sold me in like the first 3 minutes of the movie. The marshal rides out to a guy's ranch to arrest one of his guys for whatever charge. I think it was rape or something. And the ranch owner, who was a bad guy in the movie, basically guns down the marshal or the sheriff and his 2 deputies with a freaking lever action Winchester 92. And he's talking to him and then bang the rifles up and he shoots all 3 of them. And that's really it was realistic. There was no big showdown. There was no talking beforehand. It was a gunfight the way a gunfight really would have happened then. And I don't know. I guess I've always just enjoyed movies that have historical accuracies and particularly firearms accuracies. I can't watch action movies, man, because I think we all know how bad most of the firearms accuracies are in in actual action movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta watch. That's on my list to watch. I haven't seen that yet.
As far as guns that you have or maybe have had in the past, is there anyone that you have that maybe there's a little bitty part of you that's kind of embarrassed to say, yeah, I had one of those or still have one of those?
I don't think I have anything in my collection that I'm embarrassed to have, nor do I don't know. I'll tell you one thing. I'm embarrassed of something my dad has.
That counts.
Yeah, particularly because his kid's a gunsmith.
Guilty by association, yeah.
Back right after I think I was in gunsmith school at the time, and my dad was talking about getting I want something that interchangeable barrels, and he was talking about getting an over and under Savage 24 that he could shoot a 223 out of and shoot coyotes, or he could put have a shot 223 over a 410 or a 20 gauge or something. And I was like, yeah, man, but those Savage 24s aren't that good of guns, and the little, back and forth selector kind of sucks. And so I told him, I was like, man, have you looked at maybe a Thompson Center Encore or something that you could put various different barrels on? And I was just trying to steer him towards a more quality gun. Not that I'm a big fan of the Thompson Center Encore, but it's better than the Savage 24. And I told him, I was like, you can get a pistol, an Encore or Contender pistol in 223, and you can get, a shotgun barrel for it or a muzzleloader barrel. And so he went to I think it was Jay's Sporting Goods in Clare, Michigan. He lives up in Michigan. And he called me later that day, and he wanted me to be so proud of him and so proud to tell me about this new little pistol that he got called a Super Comanche. And it is a crack barrel, single shot pistol, smaller than a Thompson Center Contender, and it will fire 410 or 45 long Colt. And this was before, it was post Thunder 5 being taken off the market and pre Taurus Judge or Smith & Wesson Governor. So there was no revolver at this point in time that would do both. And the Super Comanche, it's about $160. And that should just say it all for you right there.
Yeah.
When I finally, I went to Pittsburgh, gunsmith school in Pittsburgh, and I drove up there a few weeks later to see him. And we went out he's got a little private range on his property. We went out there and he pulls out the Super Comanche and the fore end's taped on with electrical tape. And I was like, Dad, what's going on with that? He's like, oh man, it popped off the first time and I couldn't get it back on. So I just taped it on. And I was like, so yeah, that out of the entire gun collection that he has either achieved himself or I have helped him achieve certain things by, every Christmas I'll try to score something cool that my mom, find something cool for my mom to get him for Christmas or build him something cool. And so I've really helped, try to help him develop this really awesome gun collection, and he's still hanging on to that Super Comanche. And it's definitely
this gun. It looks like something that would be in Hellboy.
Yeah, or like Mad Max is like a prop gun.
Yeah,
it's possibly also held on with electrical tape in Mad Max.
That would definitely suit that movie. Yeah, definitely. It's funny.
But yeah, I don't know, man. I've got a MagTech 22. Do you guys remember those?
MagTech 22?
MagTech, like the Brazilian company that makes the ammo and stuff.
Uh-huh.
MagTech, they made a little 22 semi-auto that was like, and I say very loosely based off of the Ruger 1022. But they made one of those, and I used to work at a place that did warranty work for MagTech, and we had a lot of parts sitting around. And we had guns that had just been basically chalked up to as junk and totaled out. And I took like 12 different guns and harvested enough parts to make one gun out of it and took it home. I mean, I want to say they were like $99 .22 automatics, and I've got one in my closet, but it's definitely I don't know. I wouldn't say it's embarrassing because I'm not like glad I had it. I have it. It's kind of cool how I put it together myself from a bunch of different guns, but
as long as it works, right?
It's definitely the opposite of the crown jewel of my collection.
Which is
probably. I'm not going to say it's the crown jewel, but it's definitely. I've got a Bulgarian AKS 74U with the original barrel. That's a post 86 dealer sample machine gun.
Oh hell yeah!
I redid I built the whole thing from a original debuild kit, and it's not necessarily like, yeah, there's a lot of crinks out there, but there's not a lot of really good looking full auto crinks out there.
Yeah,
and it's probably one of my favorite guns that I've got. I probably shoot it more than anything else.
Is there a gun that you once owned? Did I say once?
Yeah. We're back to algorithm.
That you once owned that you would like to get back?
Yeah, definitely, man.
Whoa.
There's
Did a lightsaber just light up there? What the hell was that?
Sounded like a lightsaber.
What, on my end?
Yeah, it was like.
I think like a truck went by next door.
Oh, that's crazy.
No, I do have like one of them really cool movie replica lightsabers though. That like the legit, size. It's like the legit size, and it's got the fluorescent tube that lights up. I don't know.
Oh, cool.
I think my mom gave it to me for Christmas when I was like way too old to have a toy lightsaber. I was probably like 30 when she gave it to me for Christmas.
No, that's not too old. Come on.
So, no, man, there's been a lot of guns I got rid of out of necessity at certain points in time. There's I don't know, man. I've had multiple Springfield M1As over the years. I've had a super match, national match back in the days when a Springfield M1A.
But is there one that just like man, I wish I didn't get rid. I wish I had that back now, right this second. Nothing just jumps out at you.
No, but there's a whole there's a STG 58, which is an Austrian FAL variant.
You there?
Did we lose you?
Hell
Crap.
yeah.
Yeah. Bad internet again. So you were saying the Austrian. Did you say Austrian?
Yeah, I've got it's a STG 58, which was the Austrian variant of the FAL. I had one of those. I just like a cherry parts kit, man. DSA receiver. I had one of those probably, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 years ago.
Wow.
And I had I used to have 2 dogs. I've got 1 dog now, but I had a American Bulldog and I've got a Pit Bull. And when the American Bulldog was still alive, her and the Pit Bull would just go ape in the backyard. And I've got a fairly big piece of property with a big wide chain link fence, open area for them. And I had a water pipe that was going into the side of the house. It was a PVC water pipe, and somehow those dogs ran into that water pipe and broke it. And if you've ever had the main water line for your house severed, you realize that you can't do anything with water. And also, besides shutting off the pump, there's really no good way to shut off the water. And so my yard was flooding, and I had to shut off the pump. And I called this dude that I knew that was a plumber, and he came over there and fixed the pipe for me. And when he got there, he said, "Hey, man, I've been really wanting that STG 58 that you've got." And he traded me a Springfield M1A SOCOM for it, which I guess I kind of got the better end of the deal monetarily. But to this day, man, I've been trying to get him to trade me back that
the no-go, huh?
No, and he gave it to his kid. His kid doesn't want to trade it. And I can build another one or get another one, but I want that one back that's mine just because it was mine. And it was the only gun I ever named. I've never named a gun, but that was
what did you name it?
It was called the Hayton.
The Hayton.
Yeah.
That's too close to the last name.
Too close to something else.
No, like hater, like HT.
Hayton, yeah. Don't be hating.
Yeah. Don't be hating. Yeah, like that.
I got you.
Yeah, because it just expelled pure hate from it. That's what it did. And Austrians have a long history of hating people, except they just threw the Germans under the bus real bad in World War II and didn't admit they were part of it.
They hold a grudge.
So what about bucket list gun? What is the gun that you just got to have next? No, money is no object.
Laws, money,
if you could pick
object.
anything in the world, what would you have?
Man, that's does it have to be a small arm or can
no,
it
anything.
Be anything?
Anything. The sky's the limit. No restrictions.
You know, I don't know. I'd like to own. I'd like to own like an M48 or an M60 tank, or even like a T72 tank with an actual tank.
Nice.
He's going for the tank, yeah.
You know, something self-propelled with a direct fire main gun. That would be really cool. But that's just, I'm not going to see that in my lifetime. And if I really did have that kind of money, I would probably just buy more land. So that's probably not going to happen.
We're dreamers here. We like to dream.
You know, I'd really like to have a nice, a nice Type 2 or Type 3 milled AK. Maybe possibly one of the old, the PLO Type 2 and Type 3 AKs that Israel captured. There used to be some really cherry parts kits from PLO captures that the Israelis sold, and I'd like to have one of those and build it. That's not,
So not the gun of Rambo.
Not the gun of Rambo. No, the gun of Rambo was trash, dude. And I've had a Mag 58 and M240, so it's like those things are just heavy. It's
especially when they're gold.
Yeah, well, no, the gun of Rambo wasn't gold, dude. Do you know what that gun was? Do you know what the actual gun that dude had, that little short gold AK was in Lord of War? It was a freaking Sega.
Was it really?
It was.
Go look at it. It's got a cut and tuck trigger conversion on it, and the old fire control holes in the back are still there. It's a freaking cut and tuck Sega that they gold plated and threw some shit on the front. It's not a Crink at all. It's not a 105. It's not a Madi or anything. It's a straight up Sega. Which really, really disheartened me.
Well, they probably did that on purpose because they knew that guy didn't know his gun, so they're like, just freaking Duracoat one gold and give it to him.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know, man.
Because his character would have done that,
I'll tell you what I'd really like to have right now that I think is somewhat obtainable, but I would really like to have a 1850s 3-band Enfield rifle or a 2-band Enfield rifle with Confederate markings on it. I would really enjoy having a Confederate infantry rifle, but preferably one that was still in shootable condition, so that I could actually take it out and shoot it shoot it blank in a reenactment and shoot it live with like a North-South Skirmish Association competition. I think that would be really cool.
Nice.
You do the live reenactments, don't you?
I've never. The only reenactment stuff I've ever really done is more from like the technical standpoint of it. I've never really like gotten out there and dressed up. And I'm not super into the like living history thing of like, dressing like it 24/7 while you're in camp.
Yeah.
But yeah. I would, I don't know. I've got friends that are with, I believe it's 5th Company Washington Artillery, and they do a lot of reenactments, artillery reenactments. And I enjoyed the Civil War era artillery, particularly, the 12-pound Napoleon guns and whatnot. That stuff's just really cool.
So your company is called Mesa Kinetic Research. Tell us a little bit about that, how you got started, what all you do.
Okay. Well, it's not exactly new. We make 3 years next month, but Mesa Kinetic Research is something that it was originally started by me and Jake Guidry after we both left Red Jacket. Currently, I'm the only officer in the company, and I've got a couple of guys that work for me. We have a retail store connected to the same building that's called Khyber Pass Tactical, it's just a division of the company because basically we had a lot of people locally that wanted us to have a little retail store where they could bring in gunsmithing and whatnot. And that was one thing I felt Red Jacket always lacked, was the accessibility of the public. I'm not scared of the public. I love the public. The public is where I make my living, and I make my living serving them and them having a relationship with me. So I thought that was very important for us to have a retail area. So we do have that. We do produce billet AR-15 Gen 4 billet AR-15 lowers. That's something that we were big into. We're not really doing it so much anymore, just because the AR-15 market's become so saturated to the point where it was like, why are we trying to keep up with other people doing the same thing everybody else is doing? Let's do something a little different. And years ago, I was big into building precision bolt rifles. We got back into that, doing mainly M40 A1, M40 A3, M40 A4, and A5 variants. 308 sniper rifles and other caliber versions of those. We do a significant amount with the Kalashnikov platform, which is something that we didn't start out doing, but it was a void that I felt we could fill where there's a lot of other very quality, not a lot, but there's a few other quality companies out there offering high-end Kalashnikov builds. Krebs and Rifle Dynamics being a couple of those companies, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for Jim Fuller at Rifle Dynamics and for Mark Krebs at Krebs, and I didn't want to do the same thing that those guys were doing with AKs, and they've both got their own styles that they do, and while we do some stuff that at the customer's request mimics the style that they're into, what we're really into doing is doing classic Kalashnikov builds that look better than what they look the way you want an original Kalashnikov to look, not the way that they actually looked in real life. For example, you look at an AKS-74 and you pick up an actual real Russian one, and the finish isn't that nice on it. The rivets aren't always that nice on it. The wood's not that nice on it. And so if you can take that rifle and you can take it, AK-74 parts kit and a triangle side folding stock and build that on a quality receiver using a quality U.S. heat treated receiver, using quality rivets with the correct lead content, and you can build everything in-house in small boutique batches, not big production line thing, but 1 to 5 guns at a time, and finish it with a high-end finish like a Cerakote H-Series finish. I think you can achieve something that looks much better and feels much better and shoots much better than the original thing that you were setting out to replicate. And it's basically what we all wanted those rifles to look like in our thoughts. It just wasn't what they really looked like the first time we picked them up. So we decided to build rifles like that. And, a lot of people pick up my AKS-74U and they're like, damn, dude, what kind of wood is this on there? I'm like, that was just crappy Bulgarian wood that was painted brown, and I stripped it down and did a colonial maple stain on it and did a build-up hand-rubbed oil finish on it. And we do a lot of hand-rub oil finish on our front wood. Granted, that is not historically correct. Mm-hmm. Shellac and lacquer finishes laid on with a brush was historically correct. But we're not setting out to make things historically correct. We're setting out to make them at a glance look historically correct and up close look better than historically correct and smoother and nicer. And the way things would have been made if they'd been made in small batches by gunsmiths that cared about putting out a really good looking and good feeling firearm instead of being stamped out in the ISMASH arsenal one after another by, socialist workers that they got paid the same amount no matter how well they finished that wood.
Right.
So we really got into that market a whole lot. And we also work, I do a fair amount of work with third-party companies, consulting them on new products they're bringing to market, helping them find solutions with products that they have, testing and evaluating some of their products. We've had companies just send me stuff. Hey, take this out, shoot it. Tell me what can be better about this. And sometimes I'll do the work on it, the improvements myself. And sometimes they just want to pay for the advice, and I'll tell them this is what you need to do. And give them pointers. They pay me for their time, and they make the improvements themselves. So there's definitely a lot of behind the scenes stuff with other companies that a lot of it I can't actually talk about because I do have non-disclosure agreements with all of those companies so that I'm not blabbing their secrets around on internet radio interviews.
Now you also do some classes, right?
What's that? Oh yeah. We do. I'm sorry, I totally forgot about that. Well, I was going to get into the training company as well, but actually.
Dude, keep talking. I don't want to throw you off. You do your thing.
Well, I do know one.
I'm just throwing you softball pitches, brother.
I do know one company that you can talk about stuff that you're doing with. You're going to be like a freaking professor / writer of AK material here soon.
Okay, yeah. Well, I didn't want to start like plugging that because I didn't know if that was under any kind of non-disclosure. But you can go ahead and give a little bit of a.
We'll give a teaser.
Yeah, go ahead and give a little bit of background on that, and then I can add some stuff to it if you want.
So, as a lot of y'all know, with Sonoran Desert Institute, it's a online gunsmithing school, and we're trying to take this to a level that nobody's ever seen in the industry. We want it to be all-encompassing, every gun, to where you really can learn as much as you possibly can from a distance learning environment. And one of the guns we needed to find some content on was the AK. And Mr. Buckles here is going to be helping us out with that. Professor Buckles, that sounds good.
Yeah, I don't know about that, man. Like, I didn't even finish real
I like
college.
Professor V better.
Yeah, I don't know. The quote-unquote
Doc Vince.
I just want to go back to my gunsmith school and wear the goofy little blue like lab coat that all the professors there wear.
Nice.
And they dress like the English gunsmiths. You know, like when the teabags work on guns, they wear lab coats. That's some weird. I'm not even into the apron thing unless I'm working with like a caustic chemical, dude. Just wear a t-shirt and freaking work pants, and then like wash your clothes when you get home. That's like I never understood the need for extra protective gear that could get caught in like a lathe or a mill. I'm kind of a minimalist when it comes to anything that could suck me into a piece of equipment. But
it's kind of weird. They're so protective over like clothing and stuff like that, but then they don't brush their damn teeth. So I don't know.
Are you stereotyping somebody now?
Are we? What?
No, I don't know, man. I think it's okay to stereotype the British to some extent because, like, we as a country, like, we're British at one point in time. So
we're stereotyping ourselves.
The Aussies give Britain crap all the time. Why can't we, dude? They don't brush their teeth.
It's like we're busting on our granddad.
It's terrible. But anyway, yes.
Alan's sitting there going, "What the hell is this?"
Right? Yeah, your editor is going to love me. I'm currently working on the curriculum for the AK build module for Sonoran Desert Institute's gunsmithing program, and that's about as far as I can go with it. Other than the fact that those that are involved in their gunsmithing program next year sometime will have access to that build module. And that will be I don't know, is that a package that they have to purchase separately, or is that accessible to any student that joins the program?
It's going to be an option for their senior project in the full program, and you can also
lead upgrade.
And you can also purchase the build module separate too.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. Well, hey, so to plug some of my other educational endeavors, other than that, and I do have to go here in a minute. We probably got about 5 minutes here, and then I got to go close up shop. But we do. Mesa does offer about. Currently, we've done 3 classes this year. We've got another one coming up in Carpentersville, Illinois, in December, and next year we've got at least one on the schedule in Louisiana. We do 2-day AK build classes, which basically consists of building from a already serial numbered and heat treated Nodex Spud or 74U LLC receiver. But going through and spotting your trunnion holes, riveting your trigger guard and your selector stop properly, which is a big thing because the trigger guard on the AK is also the magazine latch all in the same housing. And there is a rather violent extraction of the magazine when you do quick mag changes on the Kalashnikov platform. Basically, spotting your front and rear trunnion holes, head spacing your barrel, installing your barrel pin, polishing and smoothing the TAPCO G2 fire control group, proper assembly and disassembly techniques, and we do brush over finishes, although to teach a class on sprayed on and baked on finishes would kind of be a class unto itself. But basically, it's a 2-day class that you leave. You don't necessarily leave with it. Oftentimes, if you're out of state, it'll get shipped to your FFL in your state, but you have a completed rifle at the end of the class that you do get to keep after the class, and that is included in the tuition. And then the next one coming up is in Carpentersville, Illinois, December 6th and 7th, and it's sponsored by Circle10AK.com. So if you go check out their website, there are a bunch of good guys up there in Illinois that do a lot with the Kalashnikov platform. And contrary to popular belief, you actually can own an AK in Illinois. It's just not in the county that Chicago is situated in. So there is actually some decent semi-automatic rifle freedom still happening in that state.
Cool.
And we'll be doing our part to bring some new Kalashnikovs into the world in their state.
So if people want to find out more about Mesa Kinetic, what's your website, social media, all that stuff?
The website is mesakineticresearch.com. It is sorely outdated, and I need to get on that and get some good updates on there. But the best way to follow us as a company would to be follow us on Facebook. It's Mesa Kinetic Research LLC on Facebook. Our retail store is Kyber Pass Tactical on Facebook, but that's really, if you're in the area, if you live in the greater Baton Rouge area and you're looking for, something retail local, follow that. If you want to follow our builds, our custom stuff on the national level, Mesa Kinetic Research LLC on Facebook. If you want to follow my personal freaking day-to-day pictures of builds or whatever other crap I feel like taking pictures of, it's Vincent Buckles on Instagram. And
selfies.
I don't do too many selfies, dude.
I saw one a couple days ago.
Or your wife's builds.
I did one sitting on the outhouse at my parents' place in Michigan because I had to post a selfie to that website where it's like selfies on the John. And like everybody's got on regular toilets, and I was like, dude, I'm doing one in a legit Amish-built outhouse.
Nice.
That's a nice birthday present that your wife got, by the way.
Yeah, it really is, man. And the outhouse or the picture?
No, your wife's birthday present. That's a nice present she built herself.
Oh, the nice birthday. Okay, right on. Yeah. She came in and she built that. She wanted to come to our last class and build a 74.
And she's got my favorite album T-shirt on. Oh my gosh, she's awesome.
I traded that freaking there was a homeless guy about 10 years ago that had that shirt on.
No way.
And he wanted some cigarettes, and I told him, I was like, dude, I'll trade you like a pack of smokes if you give me that shirt. And he gave it to me. And that's like a legit 80s vintage Ride the Lightning T-shirt.
Metallica Ride the Lightning.
I helped the homeless, and he helped me with my vintage metal T-shirt collection at the same time. But www.vincentbuckles.com. That is a blog site that I do through All Hunt, and it's got, if you'd like to follow some of my somewhat more extreme political ideas about the secession of the southern states from the Union, or if you just want to read about a hog hunt that I went on, or other random freaking essays from my life, you can check that out. I'm going to be updating it more often. I do talk a lot about politics, and it's pretty much widely known that I'm a constitutional libertarian, and that I do believe in the rights of states to secede if they don't see fit with the way the federal system's going. So yes, I am controversial in that, but I do feel strongly about it. And I think there's a lot of other people in this country that feel strongly about it as well, and feel that the government is not taking this country in the direction that the people would like it to go. So you can definitely check out some of my political writings and ramblings there.
And that's VincentBuckles.com.
It's VincentBuckles.com.
Okay, cool. Well, we know you got to close up. Let's thank our sponsors, and then we'll wrap everything up and then go from there. Or were you going to say some more about that?
Oh, I'm good, dude. You can thank your sponsors.
Okay, I didn't want to cut you off. So we'd like to thank our sponsors, ICE Training, ICEtraining.us.
Holder and Green Professional Real Estate Services, HG Press. Get in touch with those gun-friendly whatevers.
Real estate agents?
Yeah. I just lost all train of thought.
What's their number?
1-800-615-1840, extension 2222. Especially if you're a veteran, they can help you secure VA loans.
Yep. Also, our bandwidth sponsor, Sonoran Desert Institute, sdi.edu. Go there if you want to become a gunsmith.
I do.
You are going there.
I know. I've got my first build under my belt, too.
Nice.
So do you.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to the next one.
Also, All or Nothing Tattoo Studios, allornothingtattoo.com, and their very gun-friendly merchandise store, strangleholdmerch.com.
Cantu Bruner Designs. They make the bullet pins that we talk about, and you see on our Facebook page and in some of the videos. And HG Press, I know for a fact, uses those pins when they sign those big real estate deals.
Yep. And Savoy Leather, our good buddy Jeremiah up in Oklahoma. Fellow Cajun of yours, SavoyLeather.com, spelt Savoy. Vince?
No, it's not spelled Savoy. It's spelled Savoy.
Well, we got to dumb it down a little bit. Spelled Savoy, S-A-V-O-Y.
Okay, I'm sitting in the Acadian parishes in Louisiana right now. I assure you that's spelled Savoy.
Well, we're in Tennessee. It's spelled Savoy.
1776 United for our T-shirts, 1776united.com.
And Vince, man, thanks for coming on the show. We appreciate it.
All right, thank y'all, man. Y'all have a good one.
And as always, left hand, keep your loved ones close.
Oh, wait, we're doing this right now?
Yeah.
And your Kalashnikov closer.